How y'all doing today? So glad to have y'all here. Welcome to our Tuesday night power hour. So glad to have y'all in the house today. As y'all jumping in here, just say hello. Let me know your name, where you're tuning in from. I'm excited. I love doing our happy hours. Our happy hours make me very happy because we're able to get together and talk about some good stuff, right? That's going to help you position yourself to get those yeses on those applications, to get approved for those credit cards, to get approved for those loans, to get the best rates, and finally have a plan that you're going to be able to execute so that you can get those high dollar amounts on those loans, those high limit credit cards, and you ain't got to worry about getting denied. So I love doing these happy hours because I get to share some really useful information with you guys. So I'm really excited to have y'all here on this Tuesday night happy hour. I just love being able to do this with y'all today. So, hey, Pam. Hey, Sam. I've got some people in the house. I love to see y'all here. So as y'all jumping in here, just say hello. Hey, Deborah. We are streaming actually live on Facebook. Hey, Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on Instagram. So I'm glad to have y'all in the house. I got Chicago in the house. Who else do I got in the house? I got Hawaii in the house. Look, hey, Jason from Brooklyn. So glad to have y'all in the house today. Hey, Dwayne. So glad to have you in the house today. And so I am so excited to have y'all here because this is really a moment for us to spend some time together so that you can get the information that you need to take your finances to the next level. Now, I've been looking around and I've been reading a lot of articles, watching a lot of videos about this recession. I mean, let's be honest. Let's call it what it really is. Money is tight. Everything's more expensive. And we got to make some different financial decisions, right? So in this case, it's best to know what are your options. And not only that, how can you exercise them with confidence? How can you know for certain that what you're doing is going to work? That you have the right plan that's going to keep working over and over and over again, where you can get approved for the credit cards, the loans at the best rates, best terms that money can buy. How you can keep yourself out of debt or get yourself out of debt by just understanding how your credit works. Because let's be 100, y'all. I mean, I've been adulting for, 36 now? I've been adulting for quite some time now. And I think at this point, I have realized that credit is one of the most important things that you'll ever need to know about in your adulthood. Can we all agree to that? If y'all can agree to that, put a yes in the comments. If y'all can agree that in adulthood, credit is one of the most important topics that you need to know about, because when you don't know about it, life get a little rough. When you don't know about it, your decisions are little tight. When you don't have options, when you don't have opportunities, then you're stuck with the bare minimum. And there's only so much that you can do with the bare minimum. So I don't want y'all to get stuck with the bare minimum. I don't want y'all to get stuck with the higher interest rates. I don't want you to get stuck with the higher fees. I don't want you to get stuck with the terrible loans and the terrible credit cards. I want you to get the best of the best. I want y'all to play and win the credit game. Personal credit, business credit, it's all a game. All you got to know is the rules that you need to play so that you can win. I got yeses in the chat. Hey, Colorado. Hey, DC. And so I want to show y'all my 5-step process on how you can win the credit game, how you can stop getting denied for credit cards and loans, and you can feel confident about filling out that application, knowing that you are going to get approved. Yes. So if you want to get approved, I want y'all to put approved in the chat. Put approved in the chat, because I'm going to give y'all my 5-step always approved methodology that's going to help y'all get approved for the best loans, the terms, the credit cards that you always wanted in your wallet. The American Expresses that you want, the Bank of Americas, the high credit limits, the business credit cards, like all that good stuff that you want in your wallet, the stuff that you know you can get your hands on. I know that you can get your hands on it, but all you got to do is position yourself to get the yeses on those applications. So if you want to get the yeses on the applications, there's five things that you need to know so that you don't get rejected, so that you don't get denied, so that you can have a plan of action that works every single time. It is just, it's like, it's just predictable at this point. I know I'm at a point now in my credit that I know if I apply for this, I'm going to get approved. I know this already because I have proven this to myself time and time again because I understand how the credit game works. I was talking to one of my students the other day that was telling me that the exact same thing, how before she got connected with us, she was lost about what to do with her credit. But when she learned everything about her credit through our education, she has grown leaps and bounds. She's paying off debt. She's getting approved for business credit. She's getting approved for personal credit cards. She's doing everything. She got approved for a house 7 months ago at the beginning of the year. And I know that if somebody can turn their credit from low 500s to over 700, buying homes, getting high limit credit cards and growing their business, like, come on, give me a break. There's nothing special about her. There's nothing special about me. The only thing that separates the successful from the unsuccessful is what they know. That's it. What they know. And not only what they know, but what they execute on successfully on a consistent basis. See, a lot of people think that they know everything. They think that they know what it takes to get approved for credit. They think that they know what it takes to build business credit. But in my opinion, the proof is in the pudding. So you can talk about it all day. But if you have not had success consistently over time, I ain't trying to hear it. I'm sorry. You know, knowing something and not doing is the same as not knowing something. You understand that, right? So if you know how to get business credit and you know how to get approved for every single credit card and loan, you would already be doing it. You would already have it. So it's important that we get in the know, we stay in tune, we lock arms with people that know so that you can always stay in the know. And so these Tuesday night power hours is to help you stay in the know so that you know what steps you got to take, the game that you got to play, every strategy that you need to execute so that you can have success consistently, so that not only will you know, but you'll be able to do. You'll be able to progress. You'll be able to have success. You'll be able to win. That's what it's all about. And so if y'all want to win, if y'all want to learn the methodology, I just need to see some money bags in the chat. And then we are going to get this party started. Now, before we get started, I know there's probably some people that's probably new to my power hours. So if you're new here, my name is Jerry Tolliver. I am the CEO of Fly Credit and the creator of the Fly Credit University, where we help you get the credit that you deserve. Now, I've created these power hours and I've created this company with you in mind because I was a person like a lot of people that struggle with my credit. I actually almost went bankrupt twice because I had racked up so much credit card debt building my business. I had, oh my God, my credit journey is, it was a journey, okay? It took me years to really figure it out. And so when I learned it, when I educated myself, I went and got certified on credit repair and everything. When I learned how to do better and I started to do better, I started to experience a lot better. That's the best way I could describe it. I started to have those better offers for loans. I started to get approved for the credit cards that I always wanted. I started to be able to take free trips around the world. I started to be able to quit my job to start a business because of credit. Credit saved my life, y'all. It took me from 545 credit scores to 765 credit scores. It took me from renting in the ghetto to buying a house of my own. It took me from not knowing jack about money and what to do with it to totally turning it all around, from $30,000 of credit card debt to zero, to being on the brink of bankruptcy, to escaping it all, to breaking the chains of all the debt and the shackles of it all that kept me stuck. And when I learned everything that I needed to learn about credit, I am just so grateful that it really changed my life. And so I want to show y'all how to change your life. Okay. I want to show you how you can never, ever, ever get denied ever again, as long as you know these 5 very specific 5 things that everybody should know about when it comes to your credit. Because when it really boils down to it, y'all, when it really comes down to it, having success with your credit really is all about knowing how to play the game and thinking like the banks. And so what happens is we are not successful with our credit because we're not thinking like the banks. We're thinking like a consumer. We're thinking like the same person that racked up the credit card debt. We're thinking like the same person that doesn't really know much about credit. And so you've got to start thinking like the banks if you want to win the credit game. Now, one way that you can do this successfully is to understand the concept of trust. Now, if you're a trustworthy person, you understand this. And I'm sure you know some people that are very untrustworthy because they do things that make you not trust them. And so you don't want to be that person when it comes to dealing with banks, right? Because banks are in business to make money. All right, put that in the chat. Banks are in business to make money. That is what they're here for. They are not here to give you free money. I don't care what nobody tells you. They're not here to give you every single thing that you want on your terms, especially if you don't qualify for it. What's funny about that concept is that people understand that concept when it comes to jobs and relationships, but they don't always apply that same concept when it comes to their finances and their credit. See, when you're filling out for a job, right? A lot of the times what you're thinking to yourself is, well, am I qualified for this position? Now, fun fact, I was actually reading this article about jobs and qualifications and people that apply for jobs that they are not qualified for. And the funny thing is, women have a tendency to not apply for jobs that they're not qualified for. But men, on the other hand, are like completely different. Y'all go for it. And women don't do this for whatever reason. So men will actually apply for a job that they're not qualified a lot more consistently than women will. And I think that's interesting that men are more likely to take that risk, but men hardly ever use credit, which is interesting. And so the thing is this, if you want to get what you want, you have to qualify for it and you have to apply for it. So what you got to do is understand, what does it mean to be qualified for a loan or a credit card? Because when you're applying for a job, y'all, now, have y'all ever applied for a job you wasn't qualified for? I haven't, honestly, because it says right there on the qualifications, it says you need a master's degree or you need X amount of years of experience and you need XYZ. And for that reason, I have been a person that just wouldn't apply for something if it lists qualifications that I don't meet. And it's funny because I probably still could have done it and still got the jobs, actually. But sometimes you just never know what's going to happen. You just never know. But I think that when you're applying for credit, you've got to understand what are the qualifications. And unfortunately, when it comes to credit, like credit cards and loans, they don't always list the qualifications right. It can be very, what's the word I'm looking for? It can be very vague. I'll say that. It can be very vague where you don't really know what you need to do to get qualified. Now, you have some general type of requirements a lot of people know, right? Like if you're looking for some credit cards, you know that you need to have excellent credit to get it. A house, you know that you need to have a down payment or closing costs or some pretty decent personal credit. You need to have 2 years of tax returns. Like you have some requirements that you need to meet if you want to get approved. And so, knowing those requirements is really what's going to be that foundation that you'll be able to build your credit on. And so here's what I want y'all to remember. Here is the philosophy that you have to remember. And it's the 5 C's. Put that in the chat. 5 C's, y'all. Banks are in business to make money. Yes, exactly, y'all. Thank you. Put the 5 C's in the chat for me. Here's why. Because when you start thinking like the banks, you realize that the banks think like this. And I'm going to tell y'all exactly what that is. The banks think along the lines of the 5 C's, okay? Now, what are the 5 C's? Let me take my sip of water and we're going to get into it. All right. So the 5 C's go like this. If you're somebody that wants to get approved for a personal loan, credit card, home equity line of credit, auto loan, business loan, whatever, if you're trying to get something from a credit card, a lender, or a bank, the first C is credibility. Okay, put it in the chat. Credibility. Now, this goes for personal credit, business credit, doesn't matter. Credibility. Now, this is about your credit, okay? This is about being trustworthy. So if you're trying to impress a bank, right? Let's say you're trying to impress a bank. The first thing you got to do is you have to give them a good first impression. And when you're thinking along the lines of first impressions, think about a relationship. Now, I'll be honest with y'all, a lot of the stuff that I see online is crazy when it comes to relationships. So I hope that y'all not taking too much relationship advice, especially from like these relationship advice podcasts out here in these streets, because they don't know what they're talking about, y'all. They don't know what they're talking about. But what I could tell you is this. Your character means everything when it comes to building trust with banks and with other people, period. Your character. And so your character is all about leaving a good first impression. And the first impression that most banks are going to get from you is going to be based on your personal credit. Bottom line, your personal credit. I don't care what nobody tells you. It could be your personal credit or your business credit if you're in business. For all my business owners, that's in the house. So your credit matters, and it speaks to your character and your credibility. So think about it this way. If a bank pulls your credit report, they're looking at your financial history. They're looking at your report card. They're looking at how you've dealt with banks in the past. Could you imagine somebody maybe pulling your romantic relationship history, your dating history on a piece of paper? That would be a little different, wouldn't it? So think of that like your credit reports. If a creditor or a lender sees that you see a lot of failed relationships, you've got a lot of charged off credit cards, you've got a lot of collection agencies calling you and trying to collect from you, you've got, late payments on your accounts right now, that speaks to your character. And what that tells a bank is either one, this person is going through a really tough time right now, or two, this person is just really bad with managing money in their credit. Those are like the only two real, options that you're giving a bank, is to determine like what's really going on here. So if you have a history of years of paying things late, letting things go into collections, letting things get charged off, repossessed, a history of it over years, like extended amount of time, that's different than somebody that's been paying things on time for years and just ran into a rough patch, right? Because a lot of people are actually going through that right now, where they've been, years where they've had great financial history, but job loss, the pandemic, getting sick, divorce, like all these things do affect your finances and your credit. And so you've got to think about, well, how are you representing yourself, right? When you go to a bank, how are you representing yourself? And so I always tell people the first thing that you should do before you apply for anything is check your credit. Seriously, check your credit, because you want to give the best first impression, and you can bet your bottom dollar that a bank is going to check your credit, especially if you're trying to get personal credit cards, business loans, personal loans, a mortgage, a renting an apartment, insurance. Like, your credit really does matter. And so if you want to give the best first impression and you want to make sure that you're, you're positioning your character to be accepted in a good manner, then you want to check your credit. So yeah, medical bills are a little different, right? Because people get sick and medical bills are outrageous in the USA. So medical bills, they happen. But when you're paying things, literally your credit cards, loans, mortgages late over extended periods of time, it raises questions with banks. Because think about it, right? Think about it this way. Let's say, for instance, your friend or your family member that's you've known forever. You've known them forever, and you've noticed that they have a history of asking other people for money and not paying them back. I've got a question for you. Would you give them money if they asked you for it? Real talk, y'all, for real. Let's just be 100 with each other today. If your friend or your family member that has a history of not paying you or other people back asked you for money, would you give it to them? Don't worry, I'll wait. Probably not. And you know why? Because they're not really trustworthy. And so, banks are looking at how trustworthy are you, and are you going to do right with my credit or my money, and are you going to pay me back? That's all they care about. And so make sure that before you apply for anything, make sure you check your credit, because you don't want to be blindsided by denials simply because you didn't check your credit. What I would also suggest is doing a little research and seeing, which credit bureau does this creditor pull from? Because not every creditor pulls from all three credit bureaus, right? Some of them pull from one, some of them pull for two. So maybe do a little research to see, what credit bureau is this creditor going to pull from? And then you can make even a better decision from there, a more specific decision from there, so that you can, prepare yourself, because preparation is what leads to success. Guessing and hoping, wishing and praying ain't gonna get you there, sis and bro. The only way that you're gonna get there is to do your research, prepare yourself before you take that step. Okay. Robert says, hell no, he not gonna get nobody no money. Exactly. Countess says she not giving him no money either. I feel y'all. I wouldn't either. I mean, I don't let people borrow money from me. That's something that I don't do. If I give you money, I give you money. I don't really expect it back. Just count your blessings. That's good. That's how I see it. But I wouldn't be letting nobody borrow money that doesn't pay money back. So that's just the bottom line. Number two, if you don't want to get rejected for a loan or a credit card, then you're going to have to determine your capacity. Second C, capacity. First one, credibility, character, right? Second one's going to be your capacity, meaning how much of a debt load can you really handle? Now, I have seen people actually get rejected for this time and time again, because they just think because they have some decent credit scores that they should just get approved for whatever their heart desires. I'm sorry, but that's not the case. Because if you have too high of a debt load, you will get denied just based on that. So you will see or hear about a term called your debt to income ratio, right? Now, what this basically means is how much of your income is being paid out towards debt payments. Now, in my opinion, if more than 40%, 30%, 40% is pushing it. But if more than 30% or 40% of your income is going towards debt payments, in my opinion, you are overextended, because that's a lot of money. Think about it. If you made $1,000 a month, but $300 to $400 a month are going just to debt payments, all you got is $600 to work with. That, what are you gonna do with that, right? And so I think that people should really pay attention to their debt load, because you can easily get into some really big trouble with debt if you are not making enough money. So if you're not making enough money to handle your debt load, then you are going to get denied. So a pro tip is before you go apply for a credit card or before you go apply for a loan, pay your debts down some. Get it below 30% of your income ratio, your debt to income ratio. So remember, this also applies to credit cards too, by the way. If you're maxing out your credit cards right now, your credit cards are maxed out, you are not going to get approved for more credit cards because banks are going to see that. They're going to see that you're overextended and you're maxed out on your credit cards, and you're going to more than likely max out their credit card too and possibly not pay them. And so they're thinking about, well, what's their capacity for more debt? And if you already have 50 to 60% of your income going towards debt payments, you need to cut it short. You got to cut it short because you can only keep that going for so long if you're not making more money. So you've got to reduce your debt payments as much as you possibly can before you apply for any new credit or any new loans, because you can get rejected for that. Even if you have 700 plus credit scores, y'all, seriously, I've seen it time and time again. So if you don't want to get rejected, make sure that your debt isn't too high in comparison to your income. So my rule of thumb, 30% or less, 30% or less. Anything more than 30%, you're pushing it. Keep your debt to income at least 30% or less. Put that in the chat. 30% or less. No more than 30% of your income should go to debt payments. I see people that go broke for a car note all the time. And it saddens me, actually, that I see people they go broke for a car note, that they'll be making $4,000 a month and $3,000, well, $1,000 of it is going towards a car note, plus insurance, gas, tolls. That's just too much money to be paying out, 25, 30% of your income on a car note. That's just ridiculous, honestly. Your car note shouldn't be more than 5-10% of your monthly income, in my opinion. It's all math, y'all. Finances is all math. And so if your car note alone is taking up 30 or 40% of your income, that is a problem. So we can't keep going broke for a car note, because that's not getting you nowhere. A car has no value. It's going to break down eventually. The wheels are going to fall off eventually, and then you have to go buy another one. And then you're going to sacrifice saving money, and you're going to sacrifice building wealth. You're going to sacrifice taking trips around the world. You're going to sacrifice your early retirement for a car note. Y'all can tell I'm a little about that topic, because it's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. And so it's time to be smart about your money, especially if you're asking banks to give you more. Because if you can't manage your money right now responsibly, how can you ever expect a bank or a lender to give you some of theirs, right? If you can't save your money, if you can't invest your money, if you can't multiply your money, if you can't grow your money, how can you expect somebody to give you more? So it's important to be smart, do the math, do what makes sense so that you can position yourself to get whatever your heart desires. Because once you have good credit, once you figure out the financial game, the sky is the limit. Seriously, debt isn't bad, by the way. It's how we utilize debt that gets people in trouble. It's when we consume on debt, when we buy the purses and the shoes and the cars and the clothes on debt. It's like, why? Like, why do we do that? Why do we go into debt to impress people that we don't know, we don't like, we care nothing about, and for people that don't care about us? Like, make it make sense. When 15, 20, 30 years down the line, you're going to look up and wonder, how come I couldn't retire earlier? Why isn't my retirement fund growing? Why don't I have any investments set to the side? What's going on? Why am I still in the same place I was 20, 30 years ago? You know why? Because of that car note. That's why. So, I hate to harp on it, honestly, but I see it too much to not call it out. Like, I'm here to hold y'all accountable. I'm here to see you win. But we can't win when we're making silly decisions off of short-term gratification, a microwave mentality. When we think that what we want is just going to appear before our eyes without doing the work. I'm sorry. If it were that easy, everybody would do it, but they don't, because it isn't. Because if it were that easy to have $1 million in your bank account, everybody would have it. But less than 3% of people ever touch $1 million in their life. So if you want to build wealth, if you want to have freedom, if you want to have a better quality of life, it starts with your decisions that you're making right now. It starts with the decisions that you decide to make, because nobody's making your decisions but you. And you are the captain of your own ship, and only you can lead that thing. And only you can bring it into victory. And so I want to be able to help you and guide you through those steps and give you the game so you can make it happen. But at the end of the day, you make that decision. It's your decision to make. And sometimes it's hard to break old habits. Sometimes it's hard to give up the ego. Sometimes it's hard to give up the pride. Sometimes it's hard to say, I'm going to, make this sacrifice right now so that I can have a better future tomorrow. Y'all, give me a break. For years, I stopped getting my nails done. For years, I stopped getting my hair done. Y'all, that's why I know how to do my own hair. Because for years, I stopped paying people to do it for me and figured out how to do it myself so I could save money. So I can redirect that money into paying off debt. So I can redirect that money into building a savings account, to get to putting money into investments. But I could have still been doing the same thing I was doing when I was broke. I could have still been spending money on things that had no value. I could have still been going broke on a car note. I could have still been doing a lot of things with my money. And so, at the end of the day, it's about making the right decisions, the smart decisions for your finances and for your future. And the best thing that you can ever do is get your credit together and lower your overall debt load that you're carrying. And if you're going to carry debt, it needs to be good debt. It doesn't need to be that bad consumerism debt that we are bombarded with every single day. I actually don't spend a lot of time on Facebook because I am bombarded with it all day, all the time. You're scrolling your timeline. You're bombarded with ads. You're bombarded with fashion. You are bombarded with shoes, clothes, things to buy. You are bombarded with things to spend your money on. The deals, the sales, the emails, the text messages. You are bombarded with it to consume every single day of your life. And every single day you have to make decisions every single day. Can you imagine how many decisions you have to make every single day? It gets a little exhausting, doesn't it? To have to make so many decisions every single day, to have to sift and sort through making decisions from information that you're bombarded with every single day. And so if I'm going to bombard you with anything, it's going to be with information that's going to help you make better decisions for yourself. And so get your credit together. And 2, lower your debt load. Don't take on more debt if you're unable to manage the money that you have right now, y'all. Seriously. Like, I understand that you need to get the business credit to grow your business. I get it. But if your business isn't making money without business credit now, I can't guarantee you that your business is going to survive once you do get business credit. So it's important to just understand the basics. It's important to understand, what is the bank looking for? How can I position myself to succeed? How can I grow? How can I win for the long term? I'm not talking about no microwaves. I'm not talking about no microwave kind of success. I'm talking about the success that you're going to be able to have for decades, that you're going to be able to give to your children and be able to carry it down for generations. That's what I'm talking about. So, if you want shortcuts, if you want hacks, if you want, chasing the pipe dream kind of the information, I'm sorry, I'm not the person for you. But if you want the real information that's going to get you real results for a real long time, I got you. So make sure that not only are you getting your credit together, but you can increase your capacity. You can make more money. You can lessen your debt load so you can make better financial decisions for yourself. Number 3, okay, is you've got to make sure that you've got some capital. You've got a savings on hand. You've got some kind of skin in the game, right? Now, I see people all the time talk about how you don't have to put a down payment on a car. You don't have to put a down payment on a house. I don't know who told y'all that, but it's not true. So if anything, you will want to put down a down payment actually so that you can lessen your debt payments over time, so that you can pay off these vehicles and homes a lot faster, so that you can free yourself up from debt sooner, so that you can make other smarter decisions for yourself. But you're going to need some skin in the game in most cases, especially for my business owners, y'all. Like, I love y'all so much, but I sometimes get a little exhausted with people that come to us saying they want to get hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars in business credit, but they don't even want to invest 4 or 5 figures in their own business. Like, give me a break. Give me a break. In my years in business, we've made millions of dollars, and I have invested multiple 6 figures into my business year after year. And so when we get people that come to us saying they want millions of dollars, but they don't even want to invest a couple $1,000s into it, I question how serious you are about your business. I question how serious you are about your future, because you can't get something for nothing. And I don't know who told y'all that you can, but you can't. And I got to keep it real with you. That's just a pipe dream. And the longer that you keep chasing it, the longer that you're delaying your success. So the reality of it is this: you got to have some skin in the game. Like, if you want investors to invest in your business, is what a lot of the times what you're asking a bank to do is to invest in your business, is you got to have some skin in the game already. You have to have had already invested in your business. If you want the vehicle, put some money down. If you want a bank to finance the rest, if you want to get a home loan, you got to have some money to put down. You got to have some closing costs perhaps, so that you can have some skin in the game, and so you can lessen your debt payments over time. This is a long-term game. This isn't a short-term play, y'all. This is long-term play. And so you've got to have some skin in the game, my friends. That's just the bottom line. If you want to get the big bucks, you want to get millions of dollars, but you don't even want to invest $2,000 to $3,000 in your business, give me a break. That's not how that works. So, at the end of the day, a lot of this starts with your mindset, right? A lot of it starts there, because if you're approaching your credit and the credit game with a microwave mentality, if you're approaching the credit game with an idea that you can get something for nothing, if you're approaching the game thinking that you can finesse the banks, nah, this ain't that. Nah, we not on that. That's not how we roll, okay? I'm teaching you how to win, to play the big boy game, so that you can get the big bucks. You can multiply it over and over and over again. And you can keep doing it over and over and over again. And you can build wealth over and over and over again for generations to come. Because it's not about you. It's not even about me. It's about the people that you care about, the people that care about you. That is what it's about. But you got to have some skin in the game. So the third C is capital. You got to have some money. You got to have something. You got to have a savings. When you apply for a credit card or you apply for a loan, they ask you some of this stuff too. When you're applying for even a home loan, they ask you for bank statements. They want to see, do you have a savings account? Do you have some money put away? When you're investing into real estate, they want to see that you have some reserves. When you're looking for a no doc loan, give me a break. They're asking you for bank statements to see, are you making money? Do you have some skin in the game? Are you asking for something for nothing? Another C is, if you don't have good credit or your credit is a little shot, maybe you can put up some collateral, right? Like stocks, bonds, you could borrow against that. Real estate, land, something that has some value. You can put up collateral and get approved based on that. You can get approved for home loans as a secured loan. You can get approved for home equity lines of credit. You can get approved for business loans. You can get approved for a lot of different things, even some credit cards now with collateral, with something that has some value. So, if you're really trying to build some wealth, y'all, come on. And there are plenty of people that do this all the time, people that have real estate portfolios and they borrow against their real estate portfolios tax-free, living a dream. And it's because it can use their assets as collateral to help them build wealth. See, we can't think down here. You got to think high level here, right? Now, you'll hear a lot of chatter about why credit is so bad and why you shouldn't have a credit card and you always use debit and what about the interest? None of that matters when your goal is building wealth. Listen to me. None of that matters when your goal is building wealth. Because when your goal is building wealth, that means you're putting other people's money to work for yourself. That means that the money that you're putting to work is making more money. That's what it means, right? And so when you're on that wavelength, you're not worried about the interest because, one, as a business owner, your interest payments are tax deductible. Your investments, they're tax deductible when you're thinking along the lines of building wealth. So a lot of that chatter doesn't matter. Put that in the chat. That chatter doesn't matter when it comes to building wealth. Because, people say cash is king, cash is king. Yeah, sure. But cash is only king when you got a lot of it. But if you don't got hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars in the bank, what do you have to do? Leverage other people's money. And guess what? Even people that have a whole lot of money in the bank, they still leverage other people's money. Apple does it all the time. They have millions of dollars in reserves. And they still use the bank's money to fund projects, to do what they need to do to grow the business. And so it's thinking high level, not low level. High level says, how can I build wealth using other people's money? How can I use the rules, the game, play the game and win and come out victorious, right? That is what it's all about. And so, you got to have not even just some skin in the game, but maybe some collateral. So if you've got some collateral, you can get approved just based on that. Now, think about this, y'all. If y'all got all the 5 C's, it's going to be hard to get rejected. If you got good credit, right? If you got good credit, your character is good. If you got some skin in the game, you got some collateral. If you've got some low debt to income, meaning your capacity is high, you've got collateral. And then if the conditions are right, that's the 5th one, is the conditions. Now, I got to be 100 with y'all on the conditions. The conditions aren't always in your control. So there are some conditions that may be outside of your control that will still get you denied for business credit. Some of the conditions can be the economy, right? This is a perfect example. Right now, we are recovering from the pandemic, right? And because of that, banks have already been tightening up. I mean, some banks have been failing, right, over this last year or so and collapsing. And that tells you something. And with that being in mind, you have to know that, like I said, banks are money to make money. And if banks are they're squeezing a little tighter, which means that they're not approving people for credit as often or as frequently as they used to. And a lot of people are going to have to, they're going to have to try other avenues, honestly. They're going to have to, look at ways to get approved from other different avenues, because there are a lot of different options out here when it comes to business credit and loans, that's for sure. But when you're looking at big banks for loans and credit cards, they are very strict. Okay. They're very strict for the most part. And so when they start restricting when they're approving people for credit or loans, then just know that even if you have good credit, you could possibly still get denied because they're tightening up. Okay. They're tightening up. They're, only really lending to people that have like superb credit and meet all of the criteria. And if you don't meet all the criteria, then some of your options will be limited. And so y'all should know that the conditions part is something that isn't always in your control, because they're looking at, well, how are you using this credit, or how are you going to use this loan? Are you using it to consolidate debt? Are you using it just for a personal loan to buy whatever you want? So, they're looking at the market conditions. They're looking at the economy. They're looking at trends. They're looking at a lot of different things. So just know that the conditions part isn't necessarily all on you. That's more so what's going on, externally for the most part. But the best thing that you can do is really just understand how this all works together. So let me recap it for you. The number 1 was character. It was credibility, right? It's credibility and character. Like, who are you? Are you leaving a good first impression on the banks by having good credit? Remember, research banks, see what their approval criteria is so that you're positioning yourself to actually get the yes on those applications. Number two, your capacity. So what's your debt to income ratio looking like? Are you maxed out on the debt? Are your credit cards maxed out? Are you spending more than 30-40% of your income just on debt payments? If so, you might get denied. But if you have very little debt, then you don't really have a problem. Number three is going to be capital, cash flow. You got to have some skin in the game, y'all. You got to have some skin in the game. Number four was collateral, meaning do you have some assets? Do you have something that has some value that you can borrow against? And then the fifth one was conditions. Are the market conditions the right market conditions that are going to allow that bank to say yes on that application? And so, following that five-step methodology and just understanding those 5 C's, it's just that foundational information that you need to know to make the best decisions, to be able to be the best and well prepared for those loans, for those credit cards, for the funding, for whatever it is that you need. Because, I hear people sometimes say that, it's all luck. When I show people my stack of credit cards, they say, well, you're lucky. And I don't believe there's any such thing as luck. What I believe is when we're well prepared for opportunities, you can take advantage of them. See, I spent years getting my credit together. I spent years building business credit. I spent years learning and understanding and executing. And so it's not a matter of luck. You don't get approved for a home loan with luck. You don't get approved for credit cards with luck. You do these things strategically because you want to make sure that you get approved. I don't like getting rejected. I don't know about y'all, but I don't like getting rejected. I like getting approved. So with that in mind, I want to know what does it take so that I can get approved, so that me and the bank can do some business together, so that I can establish that relationship, so that we can take it to the next level. That's what I care about. And so there's no such thing as luck. What really matters is, are you prepared? Are you prepared? And I should mention, even with all this in mind, if you feel like, my credit is good, I've got the savings, I got the skin in the game, I've got all these 4 C's, but I still get denied, what you need to do is you need to look out for the letter. Y'all know what letter I'm talking about? Now, whenever you get denied for credit, the creditors and lenders, they are obligated. They have to. This is not an option. They have to send you a letter in the mail letting you know why they did not approve you for the line of credit or the loan. And it could be something simple sometimes. Sometimes it could be they couldn't verify your identity. Or sometimes it could be that your credit file was blocked. Or it could be the application wasn't filled out correctly. It could be a lot of different reasons why they denied you. But the good thing is, if you do get denied, that you can call their reconsideration line in some cases to get your application reconsidered and then turn that denial into an approval. So I've done that a couple of times actually, and it's worked like a charm. And I think it's definitely something always to at least try, so that you can turn a denial into an approval. Okay. So I think that at the end of the day, y'all, if you want to have success, you got to be prepared. If you want to have success, you got to be ready. You got to be ready to be ready. You got to be ready to take advantage of the opportunities when they present yourselves to them. A couple of years ago, when the pandemic hit, the government was literally giving away money, giving it away. And I thought it was unfortunate that a lot of people couldn't get their hands on it because they weren't ready to be ready. They weren't ready to take advantage of the opportunities. They weren't ready to get approved. They weren't ready to take advantage. They weren't ready to get the approvals because they hadn't done the work already. They hadn't put in the skin in the game yet. And I think that that's unfortunate. And sometimes we wait too long before we start taking the steps. We wait until our credit is maxed out. We wait until the business is almost failing. We wait until we lose the job. We wait until. But instead of waiting, just do it now. If your credit is terrible right now, you can take the steps today to fix that. You ain't got to wait until next month. You ain't got to wait until the first of the year. You could do it right now. If you have terrible credit, but you still want to build business credit, you can do that. And I can teach you how. In fact, my 7-day business credit sprint, my very last one, is coming up on the 30th of this month. And let me tell you something. You don't want to miss that if you really do want to learn how to build business credit the right way, for real. This is going to be my very last business credit sprint that we're ever going to do this year. Actually, ever. I'm not going to run it ever again anymore. We've had a really good run for it in the last year. We've helped a lot of great people, but we're discontinuing it so that we can help people on a higher level to hit higher level goals and serve people and impact people more on a higher level. So the deal is this, that if you want to change your life, it starts with your decisions. And a lot of the times, the first decision that a lot of you guys have to make, and a lot of the decision that you have to make today is it worth doing right now? Am I ready to do this right now? Am I ready to get disciplined and committed and focused right now? Or are you going to keep allowing, the time to keep passing by? Are you going to keep allowing the excuses to keep rolling around? Or what are you going to do about it, right? And so, at the end of the day, you can get business credit. You can get personal credit. You can raise your personal credit scores. You can pay off debt. You can do all of that stuff. And we can teach you how to do all of it in our Fly Credit University. But it starts with your decision to actually do it. It starts with you deciding that you're going to stop thinking about it. It starts with you deciding that you're going to stop starting and quitting. It's going to start with you deciding that enough is enough, that you don't want to keep getting denied, that you want to get approved, and you want to get approved with ease, with confidence, and you want to be able to predict what your financial future is going to look like. But it's hard to predict something when you don't have a plan. And so I can help you develop that plan. I can help you develop that strategy, and I can help you with carrying it out successfully. And so if you need help with that, just hit us up at flycredit.com. I'll be more than happy to help you guys out, for sure. I got you. It's what we do, y'all. It's what we do. So, we've been helping people for the last almost decade now with fixing their personal credit, with building business credit, with getting loans, collateral, getting capital, funding, whatever you need. We can help you with doing it. And we can help you with playing and winning the credit game the right way. And so if you need help, just hit us up on Fly Credit, okay? Now, for all my peoples on Instagram that's watching, all you got to do is tap the link that's in my bio if you want to join our 7-day business credit sprint. It's going to be going down on October 30th, okay? 7 days live trainings with me. It's going to be the very last one that I do this just ever, actually. Now, I don't know. I keep saying this year because I'm not bringing it back again. But I'm not running this program again. So if you want to be able to get in on this program, if you want to be able to get the very first steps so that you can start building business credit the right way, so that you can stop getting denied, so you can understand the methodologies, the strategies, the steps to get it done the right way the first time, so that you can finally start building your business, then join us. It's $199. You'll be able to get me live trainings with me all 7 days. It's no fluff. I'm talking actionable strategies you could take all the way to the bank. And it's for people that want to be able to get business credit the fast and easy way. And so if you're tired of sitting around waiting on money to just fall in your bank account, then just join the 7-day business credit sprint, because it's your best first step if you want to start getting business credit the right way. Now, if you're somebody that's like, Jerry, I want to be able to work with you more on a one-on-one basis, visit our website at flycredit.com, schedule a consultation with us. We'll do a consultation. We'll see if you're a good fit for the programs, and be more than happy to help you guys out. I do this. I does this. I've been doing this. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you succeed. But at the end of the day, that's your decision to make. And so hit us up at Fly Credit. And for all my people that's hitting us up over here on Fly Credit on our YouTube channel and our Facebook, then all you got to do is just hit us up at flycredit.com. That's FLYY credit.com. Hit us up. We've got links on there for you to join the 7-day business credit sprint if you want to join in. We are already at 50% capacity right now. So if you want to get your spot, please do so, because once it fills, that's going to be it. And I'm not bringing it back. Okay. So this is going to be your last and final chance to get in on this business credit sprint. I've run it for a year. We've helped a lot of great people, wonderful people with getting business credit. I'm very proud of them, by the way. And I want to be able to help just this last bit of people get to the finish line this year. And so if you want to be able to get on the fast track by the end of this year and get it off the ground, then go ahead and join today. It's only $199. You'll be able to get the trainings live with me. You'll be able to get limited access to the replays. You'll be able to get access to our Fly Creative University private platform that we built for our members. There's so much good training in there, by the way. Videos, our private podcast. You get some bonuses, especially if you join tonight. As a matter of fact, by the end of this week, I'm going to be closing out our limited time bonus, which is my $1 Million Bankers pitch script. And so for all my people that want like SBA loans, big bank loans, there's a very specific strategy that you need to take if you want to get that done the right way. Like, stop listening to TikTokers and stuff like that seriously, because they are sending y'all all the way off. It's ridiculous. You need to know what you need to say to bankers, how to say it to bankers, and how to position and present your business to bankers in a way that inspires them to want to invest into your business. And I have the perfect script for that. And so I am going to give you that as a bonus for joining my 7-day business credit sprint this week. But I would suggest that you guys join tonight while it's still fresh on your brain. Don't procrastinate about it. Don't wait until the last minute. Do it right now while it's fresh in your brain, because winners, they don't wait. Winners take action right away. That's one thing that I've noticed about people that are very successful in our programs and people that are not. Are the people that are very successful, they make decisions really quickly. And that's no BS. Seriously, they make decisions very quickly. They don't get hung up on too many things. They are not hung up on their fear. They know that they want to get results. They know that they want to progress. They know what they want to experience, right? And so because of that, they know that we're offering the best programs and everything that they need to be able to get that done the right way. And so if you want to be able to get it done the right way, if you want to be able to get business credit for your business, and you want to be able to grow it and get personal credit and pay off debt, I mean, we have a gang of programs. We have a suite of programs to help you with that. We've got a suite of programs for personal credit, managing debt, paying off debt fast, traveling the world using your credit cards. Yeah, I do this. I does this. Okay. And so, I'm here for y'all. I'm here to help y'all succeed. I'm here to help y'all win at the end of the day. That's why we do these Tuesday night happy hours, power hours. It was happy hour for a while, but it's power hour now. And so thank y'all so much for joining me tonight on this power hour. I really do appreciate it. Again, I am your friend, Jerry Tolliver, CEO of Fly Credit, the creator of the Fly Credit University, where we help you get the credit that you deserve. But again, I look forward to seeing y'all in our 7-day business credit sprint. For all my people in here that's like, Jared, I just want to work with you on a one-on-one basis. Good, because I can help y'all get it done. If you want your first 50 to 100K in business credit, that's easy money. I got you. I can get you approved for hundreds of thousands of dollars, personal credit and business credit. Just pull up on me, holla at me, so I got you. But thank y'all so much for joining me tonight. Happy Tuesday. I love y'all so much. I'll see y'all next week, same time, same place, for our Tuesday night happy hour. Again, thank y'all for joining me tonight. I'll see y'all next time. God bless. Have a good night, y'all.